our builders. We had Oroswap. Katrina came and spoke about Oroswap. Then Veldora Finance was there. We also had memes.fun. This time we decided, why not try to experiment a little differently. And so we are going to, start off with a recap of the milestones since our last call. And finally, we will invite the special guest that we have tonight, Ahmed Shafi, who's the Chief Strategic Officer at ZIGChain. So we are not going to go with all the corporate fluff. We are just going to talk about what the market is, the ZIGChain mission, and okay, I have to start again. Okay, so I think we were having some technical difficulties, but I think the introduction is already in. We have the special guest Ahmed Shafi waiting. So let's start off with the call and let's get into it. So first up, let's recap of what happened since the last time we were together. First of all, let's move on to this next slide where we speak of Apex Global Group. We announced a partnership a few weeks back. Apex Global Group is launching a regulated on-chain fund ecosystem for tokenized RWAs. Now, the special part about this is that Apex Global Group come with access to a staggering $4 trillion in AUMs. And this is like where the real world scale meets on-chain infrastructure. It's not just a partnership. It's an entry point into institutional grade capital flows built on compliant structures that global players can trust. If you understand what this really means, the scale of what this actually means, it's going to change Web3 from the way it has been as we know it. It positions ZIGChain right where the future of finance is being built, at the intersection of tokenization, compliance, and massive capital pools. So it gives ZIGChain the access to these this massive capital that can be brought on chain, and then we tokenized all these assets which we all use in our daily lives, whether it be a financial asset, whether it be a commodity, and we bring them on chain. And this partnership with Apex will be the center of it all. Moving from this partnership, we move on to the Zamanat event. This is also something related to what we've just spoken. Zamanat event happened in Dubai, was co-hosted with Apex and Disrupt.com. This wasn't just a casual meetup. It was regulators, VCs, builders, and institutions in one room, talking about how to bring compliant capital formation to Web3 at scale. That's where the next wave of adoption will come from. And ZIGChain was front and center in shaping that conversation. On the infrastructure side, Numia data, as you can see. Can we move on to the next slide so that the audience can see? Host, could you please move on to the next slide? I'm still waiting. Oh, thank you. Anyhow, so I spoke about the Zamanat event. On the infrastructure side, Numia data. Now, this is now part of ZIGChain's stack. They are delivering real-time indexing and high-performance RPCs, making ZIGChain one of the most developer-friendly chains in the Cosmos ecosystem. Builders now have the speed, the reliability, and the scalability to go from concept to live product without friction. These infrastructure partners, they are the backbone of any blockchain. They kind of help run a smooth infrastructure where builders who want to build anything can build without any frictions, and users, the utmost, can come and use that blockchain or interact with that blockchain without any frictions. So this is where Numia is going to help. And Numia comes with a prolonged reputation of being the infrastructure partners of one of the most renowned chains that we've heard of. Moving on to the next slide, we have two major announcements on centralized exchanges, where Blofin centralized exchange integrated our chain. So once the mainnet goes live, all the users, all the holders will be able to, deposit and withdraw ZIG token without any issues. It is now open to the millions of users that Blofin has. The same has been committed by LCX as well. So LCX will integrate once the mainnet goes live, and they've already announced this on the socials, so it's all out in the public. This will give ZIG token access for millions of Europeans which use LCX, expanding our reach while keeping everything above board. On the security side, now this is a very interesting area that we have cracked. Zero Shadow and Range, which are our very close partners, giving us security, giving us other areas to work with, have combined to give us a next level on-chain monitoring, real-time risk telemetry, and proactive threat detection. This, what does this mean? And now imagine, whenever you go to a hotel, there is this suited people sitting in a room full of screens watching everything that's happening around that hotel. Imagine Zero Shadow as one of those security guys who are looking 24/7 at what is happening on the chain. If any bad action is happening, they are going to report and they'll be on it. They come with a vast array of detecting so many frauds in the past. They've held different chains and different fraudulent events and recovered more than $500 million to date. Now that's a big achievement. I think with all the shady things happening across the Web3 space, they are going to give us security. They are going to make sure that whatever happens is compliant. Whatever happens is there is no bad actions happening on our chain, to put it in simple words. Moving forward, let's move on to talk about what the community did with ZIGChain over the past 1.5 months. And we'll speak about some community events as well. So first of all, Zig Connect happened in Amsterdam and Istanbul. They were pure energy, packed rooms, high-level discussions, and direct engagement with the people building the chain's future. The builders were there, the community was there. Hats off to a few of our friends. I would like to name Stasher for Zig Connect Amsterdam, who kind of made a big impact over there. That was like a buzzing sight to see when we were all there. Jam packed with all these Zig lovers attending. The same happened in Istanbul. A lot of serious conversations, a lot of future oriented conversations where what ZIGChain has to offer and what can be built on ZIGChain to even further our mission that we are carrying. Then, apart from these two events, we also had one very important event that it was very important because it was all initiated by the community sitting in Nigeria. We had Zig Connect Uyo in Nigeria, locally hosted, and it brought the conversation about decentralized wealth and blockchain opportunity directly to a community ready to take actions. I have utmost respect for our community in Nigeria. They are taking initiatives which I can't speak of right now. We are too early in that stage, but definitely there's a lot happening on that front that we will come to light when the time is right. It's proof that this just proof that ZIGChain is truly global in both vision and presence. Apart from that, we had some community initiatives apart from these as well. In Kaduna, Nigeria, the community funded and launched their own ZigBat Park, a youth recreation space that's physical, lasting symbol of what blockchain communities can achieve together. It's like a public park that is now open, funded by the Zig community. An amazing social work that our community is doing, and ZIGChain is at the heart of it. And on August 23rd, we are all heading to Bali for our flagship Zig Connect, hosted by our great friend and virtuoso Momin Saqib, and partnering with CoinFest Asia as well, the world's largest Web3 event. This is where crypto culture and global industry leaders are going to converge, and ZIGChain will be right in the mix. Having said about the community, hats off to them. Thank you so much, everyone who has been part of this. But now we move on to the product side. First of all, a good news for our ZIG token holders. I think the announcement was made a few weeks back, but on the product side, we boosted the staking reward pool to a massive 70 million ZIG. That means an extra 10 million ZIG are added for early stakers. So if you have your ZIG token staked either in BSC or Ethereum, congratulations, you are going to receive a bigger reward than what was initially promised. Moving on to the ecosystem, memes.fun, as promised last time in the call, launched on our testnet. Over 400 tokens have been launched, as I think that the number is around 400. It all launched by the community members themselves. They're on testnet. They are attracting a lot of activity, and the ball has started to roll. Let's call it that. And then another initiative from the builders' perspective that we took was starting a builder spotlight series. I think 4 of our main builders, Veldora Finance initiated it, then Oroswap, Memes.fun, and Nava Finance all came and told the community about what they are building, what the vision is, and how they align with the vision that ZIGChain has. Now, having said that, it's been a while since Oroswap and Veldora Finance has been live. Memes.fun is also live on the testnet, and there's a lot of activity happening. To our surprise, there is a community out there, globally spread out, who are in their houses using ZIGChain already on the testnet. So I'm going to talk about a few of the metrics that the numbers show as of right now. Behind all of this, the chain is alive since Genesis. No, not since Genesis of the testnet. Let me be clear. Since the genesis of the testnet, we've processed over 250 million transactions. That's swaps, liquidity provisions, staking, faucet claims, token creations, the full spectrum of activity. 250 million transactions over the last 45 days. That's like insane numbers. We are seeing, and swaps kind of take it all. I think hats off to Oro Swap for their point system. I think that has attracted a lot of the community to actually go and start swapping just to earn their gold ores. We are seeing millions of swaps executed. Liquidity provision has been phenomenal. I did not expect such an early chain to have so many people joining in, providing liquidity, although in testnet, but it's still activity that we need to talk about. Users are actively interacting with the ecosystem every single day. There doesn't go a day by that ZIGChain doesn't see testnet doesn't see any activity. So this isn't just testnet noise. It's real community, consistent usage that proves ZIGChain infrastructure is working at scale. So, hats off to everyone who has interacted. Hats off to anyone who has even created a wallet and, interacted with the faucet. Even at that level, we put our head down for you. Thank you so much. I would like the community to hit me with a ZM on this, and a slow clap from my side on everyone who has so far used ZIGChain in any shape and form. So ZM from the crowd, message us ZM to show support. Now, having said all of this, we move on to a little industry recognition. We've been recognized on some of the biggest stages in the industry over the last 1.5 months. ZIGChain was featured in Binance Islamic Finance launch, highlighting our role in bringing the $4 trillion Islamic finance market on chain. I think the focus on Sharia compliant finance, the work we have done over there, I think that puts us right at the top of the names that are working diligently towards bringing Islamic finance into DeFi. So, thank you to Binance for mentioning us, for highlighting our role in that. And apart from that, we've also, sponsored CoinFest Asia, which is happening in Bali. I just mentioned we are also having ZIGConnect over there. So we'll be attending CoinFest Asia. The team is going to be there. So if you're attending CoinFest Asia, try to find us, meet us. Let's have some meaningful conversations. Anyhow, so that's the recap. Now we've come to the point which I think most of us were waiting for this call, and that is, the CSO of ZIGChain, Mr. Ahmed Shafi. With Ahmed, I go a long way back. We've been friends before we were colleagues. We have, explored the ecosystems of Web3 together at times. We've had our falls, we've had our wins, but we have been building for a few years now. So I would like to call upon Ahmed. Hi, Ahmed. How are you?
Hello. Thank you so much for having me on the call.
It's always good to see your face.
Likewise.
Fun. So, Ahmed, I'm going to start off right through. The market has been turbulent. To be very fair, when I wrote this, when I wrote these questions, the market was being turbulent, but there has been a lot of volatility. Let's call it that. How do you think, would you separate this volatility as a signal of growth, or would you put that as noise right now? How do you see the overall general crypto market?
So I think it's all contextual, and really it depends upon what you're looking for. If you are just a trader and you're just looking for short-term movements to make to make money on the side, turbulence or volatility is good. If you are a investor and your context is very limited, you're looking at a quick gain or something for in the next 6 months. This turbulence might give you a little bit of jitters. But if you're like a long-term investor, or you're not even like a long-term investor in an investor sense, or you're building in the space broadly, I think turbulence is really just a part and parcel of the game. Because at the end of the day, I believe that markets are what they are. And it's a good thing that you have markets that can go up and down, because it allows a new capital to come in and old capital to flow out, and really have for that exchange of hands to happen. Um, but broadly, from my perspective, I think that the space is extremely we're in a very amazing lay of the land, where the regulations, the overall macro environment, everything is very supportive, and it feels that this industry is really now going mainstream, with all of the work that's happening on the real world asset front, what's happening on the stablecoin front with the Genius Act, everything that's happening in DC or in other capitals around the world. I think there's this whatever you see on the markets, it doesn't really explain how bullish one should be.
So, to put it all in one sentence, you are bullish about the market. You see a healthy future for all of us involved, and that's how it is.
I am bullish on the space. I don't know whether I should say I'm bullish on the market or not, but I think I'm bullish on the space. Ultimately, I believe that the market is just one participatory mechanism. Uh, Broadly, I believe that people who are participating in the space, or building in the space, or in any way connected in this space, I think there is a lot of opportunity for all types of people. It may be the case that, okay, one kind of clientele might be making more, or finding more contentment. Let me put it that way. Let's not even call it money, as opposed to another clientele. But at the end of the day, I think from a collective perspective, I think whatever kind of actor comes in, they're all benefiting in one way or the other.
True. Spoken like a true builder, though.
Thank you.
Anyhow, so you spoke of Clarity Act and Genius Act. You spoke about Washington doing all of this with the regulations in crypto. It has brought us to a point where we kind of see that crypto has become more than just a token that you could trade. Uh, did we lose Ahmed, or do we still have Ahmed? Okay, Ahmed is back. Anyhow, I'll just put the question in front of the audience as well. Ahmed can rejoin us in a second. So we are looking at these regulations going on globally. We are the conversation today in today's world is more about tokenizing real world assets, bringing the current financial system on chain. These are conversations that sound like a dream right now. But if we look deep into the ecosystem or into the Web3 space, this is actually happening. To name a few, the stocks that we trade in on Nasdaq, like Tesla or Nvidia, now we can buy tokenized version of it somewhere in the Web3 space. This is changing the whole tone of how crypto was being looked at. So my question would be, host, can you bring Ahmed up on stage? He's back, but we can't see him on the screen. So my question to Ahmed on this would be that ZIGChain is positioning itself around wealth infrastructure. And, when you talk about the transition of finance on chain, that's basically the wealth infrastructure that we use today going on chain. So ZIGChain is positioning itself right at the center. RWAs and DeFis are just buzzwords in that context when we talk about, but it's basically the wealth infrastructure that's going on chain. So we are positioned in a very sharper tone when you look at the bigger picture. How does that narrative evolve going into the mainnet, and once mainnet is live? How do you see us positioning ourselves once the mainnet is a go?
Yeah, so excellent question. I believe that for the longest time, the blockchain space has operated under this um, garb of this lack of regulation, or ready to say that, okay, we have or we will build our own yield rails, and we will build our own economy and our own ecosystem. And I think broadly, serious people or serious builders in the space have always had an eye for what the future looks like, and the future can't really be built on closed systems. And that's, I think, is an oxymoron, because we wanted to be open, but essentially we were closed.
Yeah.
I think really, with all of the things that are happening on the regulatory front, we are really seeing a seismic shift, not just on the blockchain side, but also on the on the other side, which is TradFi. And really, the world the future is going to belong to those blockchains that are very accommodative and adaptive to how the regulatory space is shifting, and also really using that to access yields and opportunities that come from the real world. And this is very important. I'm not sure how many people over here have actually gone into the depth of it, but most of boosted yields and all of those things, while they're important, but let's be honest, they have an expiration date to them.
Yeah.
And in that way, DeFi yields are not sustainable or scalable in the long term. Ultimately, even the DeFi primitives of today are going to need a real economic activity to be able to power that, and to become standalone businesses in their own right, which can withstand um, really have like a healthy P&L. And the only way for the blockchain space as a whole is to really look outwards, stop being closed, and start looking outwards in terms of what is out there, and how you can bring all of that economic activity that is off chain some way on chain. And this is where I believe our mission with ZIGChain becomes very interesting. When ZIGChain or Zignelli started back in 2018, it started with a simple vision that we want to democratize or provide equal investment opportunities to everyone anywhere, regardless of their income, level of knowledge, domicile, location, skill. And really, with the blockchain itself, that is something that we are now aiming to do, whereby our focus on wealth creation and wealth creation through sustainable and scalable means implies that we are ultimately not just limited to the great opportunities that exist in the DeFi space, of which I am a big fan, as you very well know, but also real world assets. And just to and really on a personal level, I think I'm very now as you go and explore that space more and more, and the possibilities that the blockchain can really afford. You start looking at you start becoming more and more enticed, even more than DeFi, even more than the next meme token, even more than the next vault opportunity on a DeFi loop. In terms of what's out there, I was speaking to someone yesterday who are doing tokenizing gold mines out of Bolivia. I was speaking to someone else who is tokenizing ownership in actual ownership, not a fan token, actual ownership in a football team. Well, who would not like to really have that diverse kind of a investment portfolio? Because you
True.
never know. And the super rich, let me tell you that that is how they make most of their money, because a part of their wealth they park it in these kind of opportunities, which are outsized bets, ultimately they lead to those absolute 10x or 50x gains, which are crazy and which are not really available to the common man. So I think really at a high level, that's where ZIGChain is trying to position itself. We are a chain very purpose built for wealth generation, focused very much on democratizing access to investment opportunities. And when we say that, we mean it. I mean, you've been with me on many calls, and we've had our fair share of adventures. A lot of people, when they come to us to say, okay, what do you mean by democratizing access to wealth? What do you mean? That's like a bold and lofty statement. Everyone says that, but then really with the technology that we have, the kind of things that we are building towards, some of the things that I cannot say, but which will be out there very soon. You're going to see that all of the complexity that comes with investment is going to be abstracted away. Not just providing access, because real world assets are available on other chains as well. But what we're going to do is that we're going to go further, and really for the investor make it as simple as just pressing a big invest button and really partaking in different investment opportunities that are available globally.
Well, I have nothing to kind of counter this with. I think you've spoken the truth and you've hit the nail on the head. But you mentioned ownership. I think Web3 and especially this tokenization that we are seeing today, we go beyond just the ownership of things, because let me give you an example. Let's say I own a piece of land that I've held for that I will probably, my children will have it once they grow up and so on. Now that's just my capital lying dead underground somewhere, and I just have the agreement of it that I am the owner, and that's what it is. But the imagination of it being tokenized, that if I tokenize that land and that particular agreement can be used as collateral. Right now, if I want to collateralize that particular land because I'm in need of liquidity, that would mean me going through a robust process of all of this through different financial institutions. Would probably take me a month to actually grab that liquidity. But crypto, with all the technology that we saw and the kind of things that we are seeing moving forward, it'll be very easy for us to just put our tokens in a smart contract, get the liquidity against it, and recover it whenever we have the money to pay back. It all kind of, and it's all done in less than 3 minutes. So these possibilities kind of go beyond what we how we think or how we've grown up to these processes that we see around us. And that's where the real value, I think, lies. And unlocking those values, those liquidity parts, is really going to create wealth for everybody out there, not just the people using it, but it kind of opens up a whole new world for everybody that are in this financial system, but they adopt to this tokenized financial system. So anyhow, looking ahead 12 to 18 months, where is Web3 headed? What's ZIGChain unique position in that future? Be specific with 12 to 18 months. We all know that 10 years from now, we'll have flying cars and everything. But I think, where do you see the next year and a half?
So again, excellent question. I think that really we're living in a very high agency world today, where you have a lot of motivated groups of individuals that really want to change the world, and they want to change the world fast. Also, I think we live in an age where infinite leverage is available. What I mean by that is that back in the 1800s, if you wanted to create wealth, you had to buy land, or you had to hire workers, or like in the 1900s or the even early 2000s, before the dawn of the internet, you really had to put a manufacturing plant, and all of that was very capital intensive and it took time. I think the internet has really fast tracked a lot of things, but I think over the last 1 year or so, what we've been able to do with AI has really created a lot of leverage for a lot of people. And I think that the next 18 months are going to be, they're going to move very fast. I think we're going to see a lot of innovations on a lot of fronts. I think we also have globally a very robust and accommodating and a very friendly regulatory structure forming around new technologies, whether that be AI, whether that be blockchain. And I think really what the next 18 months could really herald the beginning of a new future. Yesterday, when I was hosting Rafe as well as Dr. Imran Saab, it was I mentioned this, and I think it's maybe maybe if not in 18 months, but maybe definitely in the next 5 years, it could be really a situation where my wealth on chain is managed by an AI agent, and the AI agent is also somehow connected to my refrigerator. And if I don't have Diet Coke in there or sparkling water, he's able to
Order it for you.
make an order, and somehow the refrigerator and the agent are also connected with the supermarket, and the supermarket is also on chain, because there is if most traffic is coming from AI agents or bots, then and most of that is coming from the blockchain, because the blockchain is a permissionless system, then those supermarkets that are not on the blockchain will essentially lose out. This is a really interesting conversation that I was having with someone at Disrupt, where if you look at the future of search, people no longer go to Google. Like, I don't go to Google to search anything. I go to GPT, right? And but then which basically means that at the back end of GPT, what you have a lot of agents, and what are those agents reading? They're reading a lot of content. So even the content that you write needs to be optimized for these for this kind of traffic. And I think that really AI is going to be changing how we interact. And I think that blockchain, by virtue of it being permissionless, is really, I think we're going to see a lot of use cases, real use cases between AI and blockchain really blow up in the next 18 months. I think we live in a time where the motivation and the tools are there for something really groundbreaking to happen.
Yeah, see, that does make sense, because you don't expect an AI agent in the future to be using fiat currency. They would be using, crypto or any tokenized asset that a digital asset basically that they can have access to. So
100%.
your example with this grocery store, I think it like is right, spot on, because an agent will be sending crypto, and the grocery store needs to have crypto or blockchain integrated with its system to actually receive those funds. Otherwise, they lose out on a huge number of customers.
Exactly, and it's the same argument between open and closed systems, right? If, for example, I want to connect my banking application with my AI agent, so that anytime I want to, buy something, my AI agent can really just go and my personal agent can really just go and buy it on my behalf. Let's be honest, unless and until my bank allows that access to the agent, he's not going to have access to those tools. But and he's not even going to have access to the data. Now, blockchains, by virtue of them being open, transparent, all of the data being available, you can always throw $500 and cheap, because it doesn't really cost you anything to create a wallet.
Yeah.
Whereas it takes a lot of time and effort, and sometimes even cost, to open a bank account. So you could have like a particular wallet, always refurbish it with $500, and that's just for groceries. And your agent can take care of that.
True.
So I think really that's the future that we're headed in. But I also want to really refocus the conversation around how ZIGChain fits into all of this. And I think really everything starts with wealth creation. I think as wealth creation is as a concept as early as the first man. All throughout history, man has been trying to make ends meet, and then once he's been able to put food on the table, to find a way to grow that pie, so that they don't have to work, or they're able to pursue other ventures. And I think that really that is where we are very well positioned, because if you sit on this recipe of where wealth is created, then how wealth is spent is just one offshoot of that. And I think really that transition of how AI and blockchain can really change lives for the individual person, I think ZIGChain is very well positioned to do to do both spectrums, not just in terms of providing access in a complexity abstracted way for people to gain or participate in wealth generation activities, but inshallah with the things that we are planning to also then to be able to spend that wealth.
Well, you guys heard about the future. Let's see how it plays out. But I kind of agree with whatever Ahmed has said. I think the world is transforming into one big software. And for that, AI and blockchains are two recent technologies that kind of, are the heart of that. And everything is going to revolve around this, because all the money matters go to blockchain. AI takes away the decision making and all of that. So, I think a very software oriented, globalized world that we are looking into. But anyhow, Ahmed, a little back to ZIGChain and your experiences so far with ZIGChain. What has been the biggest challenge? What are the challenges that you see coming your way in the near future? And what has been the high upside opportunity that with ZIGChain right now? Could you kind of?
Yeah. So it's like as most of you know, I joined full time last year, and before that, I was also very highly connected with the team as a community member and working on certain projects with them. But really, the past one year and a half has been a breeze. I use this line many times, that I really rarely remember the person that I was before this. And that's in a good way, right? Because if you don't feel the need to remember who you were, or look in the past, and then that means that you're always looking to the future. And I think that is what contentment means, right? And that's what happiness means. So I think on a personal level, this has been very rewarding. And as far as professionally, I think there have been like quite a few challenges, but those challenges really come from being motivated and being highly agentic and being really also thinking that really being committed to building something, right? It's if you go and sit in the mosque and you don't take a risk in life, then then there will be no challenges. But
Right.
if you really want to go out and you want to make your mark on the world, or if you want to make an impact as an organization, then there are going to be a lot of challenges. And I think we've had our fair share of them. But I think what has been really rewarding throughout this journey has been how our thesis has continued to play out privately and outside publicly as well. Privately, in the sense that every time we've hit a bottleneck, we have continued to rage against the machine and found solutions. And then also publicly, I think it's been great that our community has been very patient. They've been very supportive, and that really gives you a lot of motivation to see that, okay, they realize that that this is a group of people that are committed to the cause, and they're going to deliver. And likewise, we also see that, okay, this is a community that understands. This is a community that is patient. This is a community that
That
is
puts their trust on us.
exactly. And I think one of my I'm due to publish this, but one of my principles to live by is to play long-term games with long-term people. And I think the highlight of the past 18 months personally for me, publicly and privately, outside the organization as well as inside the organization, is that we've continued to find these people and these communities who are long-term people and who want to play long-term games. And I think that is you couldn't ask for more.
Very nice. Very nice. So, even Ahmed thinks that the community and you guys are basically the biggest opportunity that ZIGChain has right now. I think everything else is just conversation. If it wasn't for you guys, then nothing was possible. Anyhow, I think we've had our good chat. I'm going to end this with one last question. What's your message to the builders, the founders, and the community members listening today?
Yeah. Well, so I think that we are broadly at a place where a lot is changing in the external environment for us. You know, we are living in a world which is going to be rapidly defined by all of these new disruptive technologies, and they're just going to come one by one. It's just going to be incremental. You had the blockchain, you have AI, robotics is probably coming up next, and there are going to be different things that keep coming our way. And I think at this, really, my message to everyone, whether you're a builder, whether you're a founder, whether you are a community member, I think it's very important for us to be adaptive to what's coming our way, to really look at these things with an open mind. And I'm not one of those people who's going to come and say to you that, hey, maybe you're a very successful person in what you do and you should drop that and you should come build on our chain. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm really saying is that at a personal level, you should always continue to see how all of these new technologies are going to, how they can make your life better, whether in terms of how you use them or whether you have a chance to invest in them. As far as the investing is concerned, it's within my very limited frame that I can promise. We will as ZIGChain continue to work to bring those investment opportunities to you, but from the perspective of what you can build on top of them, or what you can gain from them as investors, as community. Keep an open mind and continue to update yourself, update your thinking in terms of how you can harness them. There is a worldview that in 3 years from now, any Web 2 or Web 3, well, we don't know about Web 3, but I'm sure if not 3 years, then in 5 years, any protocol that does not have is not AI first is essentially not going to be able to compete. And I think that is true for individual people as well. That in 3 to 5 years, if you're not using AI, if you're not blockchain conversant, you're going to lose out. This is the same
Yeah.
as what you had with people not being computer literate, or people not being able to drive, right, or people not being able to people not having a good education. I think all of these things I think we're at the stage again as a race where as the human race altogether, where there's going to be a big social uplift, which is going to be technology led, and I think it's very important that we do not miss out on the opportunities it will present.
Well, very well said. Thank you, Ahmed, for being with us. I hope you guys enjoyed his insights on ZIGChain and beyond. And I'm going to say thank you, and hopefully we'll see you in a CryptoComics ecosystem call.
Anytime you want me here, I'll be happy to come along and chat some more.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Anyhow, guys, I think before we wrap up, I have one last thing to say from the ecosystem, from the CryptoComics front. CryptoComics has built a leaderboard for all the testnet activity, who is doing what, how much, and we are keeping a track. We plan to go live with it very soon. It should be out and about in a few days. So, I think it's not going to even take a week, but this will help us track what the community is doing, who is doing what, how much. And since CryptoComics is all about the community and growing together, I think there will be a lot that CryptoComics will be able to give to people, knowing that we have the data with us, knowing that we know who is who and doing what on the blockchain. And it's going to be a very collective effort moving forward. So do look out for the leaderboard. I think it's going to give you an insight on things. Keep doing your activities on the testnet, keep interacting. I think that's the best way of building an on-chain reputation. And the mainnet, we are very close to it. The ecosystem is about to open on the mainnet. The bridging is about to start. I will not give you a date today, but I can assure you that, like a friend of mine always likes to put it, before the new moon is seen, I think we'll be there. So I am not exactly sure when the new moon is, but it's just a quote. So anyhow, that's a wrap on our ecosystem call 2. Huge thanks to Ahmed for his insights, and for everybody who was here attending. Thank you so much. The milestone we've hit so far, definitely not the end. I think they are just the launch pad. Mainnet is coming, opportunities are expanding, and the story of ZIGChain is still being written by every single one of us here. See you at the next call. Thank you, and bye-bye.